My husband has suffered from dementia for probably about 10 or 11 years now. It was a diagnosis that was devastating to me and to my family because we knew this was a disease that could not be cured. But we were determined to provide him with the best quality of life that we possibly could. About a year ago, one of his doctors called me and told me he had heard about a man who was doing some experimental work with cold laser and working with some dementia patients. He said it could not possibly hurt my husband, and he thought that it maybe could help him. And to think it over, and if I decided I wanted to try it, he thought it would be a good idea. Well, I thought about it for about 2 seconds, and then I called Mr. Banis and told him that I would like him to try and treat my husband. And he began treating him almost immediately. At that time, the biggest problem I was having with my husband was that he didn't sleep at night. He'd be up wandering around the house, going outside, letting the dogs out, waking up the children, and it was very difficult. I was getting no sleep, the kids were getting no sleep, and we were all exhausted. The first thing we noticed with the cold laser treatments that my husband began sleeping through the night like a rock. And at first my kids were very skeptical, and they said, well, maybe it's a coincidence or it would have happened anyway. But when Mr. Banis had to go on a trip for 10 days, my husband began getting up in the middle of the night again and going outside in the dead of winter with no clothes on. When he came back, we found that he began to sleep through the night again. And we've noticed this at other times when Mr. Banis has had to be away. My husband becomes very restless at night. And now, when he gets his treatments, he's doing fine. Last summer, my husband was hospitalized with pneumonia and with a serious infection. The hospitalist who saw my husband came in to talk to me, and she said, how long did you say he's had this disease? He's remarkable. He's absolutely remarkable. Whatever you're doing, don't change a thing. He is doing better than any other patient I've ever seen at this stage of disease. When I brought him home, we had the VNA come to help us at home. He had physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. And every therapist who worked with him said the same thing to me. He is absolutely remarkable. Whatever you're doing, don't change a thing. So we continue doing what we're doing. He still gets his cold laser treatments. It's not a cure, I know that. My husband has gone downhill in some respects, but he still has good quality of life. And I think although we know we can't cure him, we've been able to slow the process of his disease. And I'm content with that. I think he has a good life. I think we're doing the best that we can. And if I had to do it all over again, I would. My biggest regret is that we didn't start it when he was first diagnosed, when it would have been at an earlier stage, and I think we would have accomplished more.